What is going on, everybody? It is time for some timeline form checks. Looks like we've got some submissions down here, and I'll be uploading this to YouTube shortly. So, Abhishek, how's it going, man? Let's take a look at the squats. This is 240 for three. A pretty good little angle here. I'm going to go ahead and blow this bad boy up, and we'll mute it as well. All right. So, first things first, looks to me like your stance looks pretty good. From a width perspective, bar position looks all right. You've got some pretty meaty thighs, but I do think you could get a little bit more depth here. And a couple other things to take note of is see how your heels are coming up off the ground. That tells me that your weight is pitched forward a little bit. And also, just judging kind of where your thighs are, they almost look like your knees aren't tracking in line with your feet. So, by opening the hips up, shoving the thighs out, and keeping the balance over the midfoot, I suspect to see the hip crease right here to be just a tad bit lower in the bottom, and that will solve a lot of issues. Okay, let's go to Charlie here. This is a deadlift. This looks to be, what does this look to be? Hey, this looks to be, man, are those hundos or are those 45s? That has to be 45. So this is 545? Okay. 545 on the deadlift. Pretty good setup here. If anything, you're starting with the bar slightly forward of the midfoot. Watch what happens. Your hips are going to come up slightly. Your knees are going to pull back. The bar is going to walk back over the middle of the foot. And then you're going to go. Yep. There go the hips first. Bar bends. You break it off the floor. The bar is going to track slightly laterally back over your middle of the foot. Now, what you do on the second rep is your hips are in the right spot and you take your slack out and it comes right up. So there's just a little bit of slop in that first rep with your hips starting a tad bit too low. See how they shift up. So you're resorting back to the standard pulling position. But that's one hell of a triple at 545 if that's what I'm seeing there. All right. That guy over there. Let's have a look at that guy over there. Squats. This looks to be about 230. High bar style. So stance here looks pretty good. Let's check the depth. Let's look a little bit high. One thing to pay attention to on the way down, since you're high bar squatting, it does you less good to really reach your hips back. What I'm seeing here is your hips shooting back, going back, and then your knees going instead of you breaking at the hips and knees at the same time. So, like I said, your hips are traveling back, but your knees aren't really going forward. So, as you're getting into the bottom, your knees are continuing to travel forward into the bottom. So, send the knees forward at the same time as you break your hips back so your knees get set a little bit sooner. And that principle really plays whether you're high bar or low bar squatting. So, you're just sending your hips back too far. And this is a very common thing because in many squat patterns, especially the low bar, one of the main cues is, hey, get your hips back, bend over. So people will literally break their hips back, bend over, but their knees won't go. And then it'll cause their knees to jab forward into the bottom, and likely you lose balance and a host of problems that way. Okay. So minor things there. The other thing you could try is just give the low bar a try. All right. Deadlifts, Kyle. This is what, 275? Mute again. The main question here is why do you have it set up on the plates? It's putting you in a little bit better of a spot. I think you look kind of tall and tall and got some long arms. But this is another really good example of the standard pulling position. You can see here how you're even with the elevated plates, your knees are forward of your arms, your hips are low, and your back is in a pretty good spot. And when you start to pull on it, what does it do but revert to the standard pulling position every single time? And then your body kind of, or you kind of get organized here and get your hips in a little bit better of a spot. But one thing that, so this is just something that I see for all you guys that are paying attention to this. The plates, he's raised it up a little bit, likely because he struggles to get into the bottom position properly. But one thing that he is doing is when he's bending down and grabbing on the bar, see how his back is really tight? He's keeping his back flat. That makes you fight for control of the pelvis, and it makes it hard to bend down and take a grip on the bar without bending your knees and squatting down. Okay, so with a flat back, it's not very comfortable to bend down and grab the bar. So I encourage everybody when they bend down and grab the bar, let their back be round, then touch the shins to the bar when it's over the middle of the foot, then take your air in, then squeeze your chest up without dropping your hips, and then push and go. Okay. It just makes it looser. See how he's trying to tighten his back up before he's even taking his grip on the bar? That makes the bottom position really uncomfortable. And when that bottom position is uncomfortable, there he goes to set his back again, but he drops his hips, sends his knees forward of his arms, bumps the bar forward to the midfoot, then he starts to pull on it, and his hips come back up to more towards that standard pulling position of the shoulders being directly over the bar, and then it comes up. So you can kind of fix that by, hey, at this start position, allow your back to be loose. Start the bar with the middle, start the bar with the midfoot. Bar 1 inch from the shins. Bend down, take your grip without moving the bar, and allow your back to be loose during that step. Then bend your knees and bring your shins to the bar. Freeze your hips when your shins touch the bar. Your back is still nice and loose. Then take your air in, squeeze your chest up and set your back hard without allowing your hips to drop, and then go. And you'll sequence out a lot better. Okay, Colin. This is another high bar squat. What's up with you guys in posting high bar squats? This is a high bar squat. So, if we dive into this here a little bit yet, you can see the big tell. His knees are way far forward. His weight is shifting forward to his toes, and he's not quite getting down into depth. So, this is actually a good matter of sit your hips down and back, shove your knees out. See how his hips and his butt is like directly over his ankles. He needs to think break at the hips and knees on the way down, but send his hips back behind his heels, and that'll make for a more balanced lift there. Okay. Peter Lefrig. Barbell almost looks a little too low on the back here. Other than that, let's take a look at the rest of the setup once I get this muted. All right. Yeah, the bar looks to be a little bit too low on the back. Depth looks good. It's kind of a good telltale sign because his elbows come down. If the bar was up slightly higher on his back, like another inch, and he packed his upper back together more, you'd have a more stable platform there. Little bit of a weight shift forward onto the toes in the bottom and on the way up. Knees are a little late to the party, but main thing here, try having the bar slightly higher on your back. Since it's so low, it's making it hard for you to even hold your lower back position on the way up as well. All right, Steve Link, failed attempt at 405. It lives in my head. Often I seem to pitch forward, but I don't understand why. This is a 405 attempt. On the 50th birthday. Well, part of what's happening here, Steve, your weight looks to me like it's back in the heels too far. So you can see how your shoulders are pretty much right directly over the bar. Ideally, we would see your hip, your crease, like your middle of your scapula right here being directly over the bar. But it looks to me like as you're pulling, you're driving through your heels. So your weight is back on your heels. And then to make it keep going, you shift forward and the bars gets closer to the midfoot. And then you just can't maintain the positioning. So double check your midfoot balance at the start. Make sure that you start your shoulders slightly out in front of the bar like this. So midfoot balance, stay over the bar a little bit more when you go to get set. Push like hell, and I bet you get it. Let's see. This must be a little bit lighter of a set. Yeah, see how you rock back on your heels, and then the bar slowly tracks forward slightly. Even at the top here, you can see your toes lifting. We need to have heavy midfoot pressure from the beginning, and I bet that solves a bunch of your issues. Okay. All righty. Until next time for the timeline form checks.